So in this session we would like to see how to establish a connection to the backend. So here I want to check what was the current state of a connection. Response.write current connection state is plus con dot state. Okay. So here I would like to use break. No. So similarly, I can print after this also. Let us show what was the output for this. So I clicked on check connection. Connection open. Okay. Next connection established successfully, and the current connection state is closed. See here, we closed our connection so that the state of connection is closed. If connection state is closed, if we are doing any operations with the database, that operations won't accept by our connection object because it was closed. There is no database available for us, so that there is no use to do anything after your connection con dot close. Okay, we should ensure that each and everything should be internal of connection open state only. Then once we done with our all operations, then only we can close. This is the basic formula how to establish a connection to the database. Now
What about the connection string? You don't have the connection string here?
this is your connection string.
Okay. Like last time you did a separate statement for it, no?
Yeah, I told you in this only, no? So in
Yeah.
connection string, these are the different components with our connection string. Connection string contains the data source, user ID,
Okay.
password,
Okay.
database.
Okay.
Okay. This is how basically interact with the database. Now I would like to, implement a kind of program from which a user is going to be pass some inputs so that those inputs will be stored at backend DB level. Those things we'll get to know with the help of our IDEO.NET. I want to take add new item web form. See, I want to pass these elements to the database so that I would like to store all this information in the database. Okay, how many columns are required? 1, 2, 3, 4. ID is not at all required because it is identity, no need to pass ID value, and is active also no need to pass because we make it as a default one, right? So this is the reason where I want to pass only these three inputs to the database so that database will store those inputs. So for this I want to create a form. A form contains four fields. So I would like, before going to proceed, I would like to take a table. So I need 5 rows and 2 columns. And the first is enter name. Next qualification. Percentage. DOG. For this I want to take a text box. Text box. Similarly, just I want to paste the text box. Here I would like to take a button. Text box. I would like to change the ID. TXT name. TXT query. TXT percentage. DOG. And next for this button, btn add submit. Btn clear. Clear. Okay. When we click on the submit button, we have to establish a connection and we would like to insert the values, what are the values which user is entered on the form. Okay, for this common things are same. First you have to import the namespaces, data.sql client, and here SQL connection equal to con. Here I would like to introduce one more class, that is nothing but SQL command. Okay, this class is used to this class is used to pass user written queries to the backend. Okay, what are the queries that we want to implement? That query should be passed with the help of our SQL command. Okay, and here we would like to specify the command type. So command type, next is command type. Command type is this object is used to specify the command type, that is text. Means if it is a normal query we can use the text. So we can use the stored procedure also. If it is a stored procedure, then we can use the stored procedure. Okay, so likewise we can specify the type of a command. If it is inline query we can make it as a text. If it is stored procedure we can make it as a stored procedure. Next, this is command type, and we have executing methods. We have a different kinds of executing methods. First is execute non-query, and the second is execute reader, and third is execute scalar. Okay, these are the three things. Okay, execute non-query means what basically executing method will do means these methods will always execute our queries taken from command object and retention final output to the user. See, so generally what happens, once after the writing of our SQL command, means we need to write a command. Once after the writing of this command, we'll specify what is the type of a command. So means this is responsible, SQL command is responsible to pass our query to the database, and execution responsibility will be taken by our executing methods. What are the queries that we entered, or what are the queries that we passed, that will be passed, that will be executed at a DB level with the help of our executing methods. Now we have a different types of executing methods, right? All these types of executing methods will have their own importance and own priority. So those things are execute non-query means this is used to execute query which returns number of rows affected by the query. Number of rows affected by the query. What does it mean? Means, say for example, you pass insert query. So how many rows affected after your passing of an insert query? Say for example, you inserted insert query for 2 times. Means your output will be 2. If you pass insert query and something is error in that, so it doesn't accept it and your value will be 0. Means number of rows affected is 0. If you pass delete query, you pass it to something, delete start from some table name where id equal to 10. Means with id 10 there will be 10 records which are available in the database. If you pass that query, it will affect on 10 records. Means 10 is your output. Means by using your query, how many rows will be affected, that count will be displayed by the execute non-query. Okay. In this, we can execute action and non-action queries. Action and non-action queries. Means what is an action query? Means if a query has an immediate effect once after the execution, then we will call action queries. Action queries. Okay. So non-action queries. Or it has an no effect once after, then we will call it as an non-action query. Means suppose if you use insert query, means some effect is there on database, maybe one record is added. If you use update query, some data will be altered. If you use delete query, some data will be deleted. If we have an immediate effect on the database, then we'll call it as an action query. So for example, insert query, delete query, and update query, drop, truncate, all these are the examples for action queries. Okay. For this, simple select statement, select, it won't affect anything, just display the result. See here I used a select a star from something. There is no effect on the database, just we are pulling the data, that's it, whatever the data is there. Here there is no change on the table structure, there is no change on the column structure, there is no change in the column value. So we will call this as a non-action query. whenever we are using execute non-query, we can make use of, you know, either action query or non-action query. Now execute reader.
We have to use either or, like one of them, right? Not
Yes,
all of
yes,
them
yes.
for one. And I have a question, like is query string and data fill similar to these methods, or that's something different?
Didn't get you.
Data, there's something like data fill, right? And query string.
You mean to ask you which one?
Query string I've used and something like data fill.
Data fill.
Those are, yeah,
That is different. You mean to ask you like, in data adapter you have a fill method, right?
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Not, I just used one time, not sure exactly what that is.
Okay, that is different and it will take some time to get into the topic.
And query string is also different, right? Nothing to do with execute reader and all.
See, query string is a completely different concept, and
Okay,
data, you asked fill is a completely different concept. Query string means
okay.
whenever we have a URL, at the end of URL, we are passing some data to one page to the another page. In that
Yeah, it's just
instances,
like I used some of these on work, but was not sure, like I didn't understand the concept.
okay, okay. Get it like you have a time, right? You can go through that and note it, and whatever the doubts that you have, put it to me so that I can give
Okay,
a clear explanation on it.
okay, thanks. I have a question right now.
Yeah.
You will be showing how to get data from the backend to the text boxes, right?
Mm.
That's going to be covered in this one,
Yes, yes.
right?
Hey,
Okay.
I'll tell you what are the covering topics that for this ADV session. See, basic code operations. Code means, create, update, okay, retrieve, delete.
Okay.
Okay, create in the sense insertion. Insertion I will take care, update, delete, retrieve of data. All these operations will be covered in this course. So along with this, uses of execute non-query, execute data, execute scalars. Okay, examples related to the data grid view. So by in data grid view, you can make use of data adapter, data sets, data tables. All these things comes under that part.
Okay.
Okay, code operations which are related to the grid view. So there we have different types of templates, item template, edit item template, okay, multiple number of templates that will be covered in that.
There are no like validations, like if something is empty, then or something like that in grid
Yeah,
view.
see, the thing is, we already did validations part with JavaScript and jQuery. You can
Right.
integrate when and where it is required. Here our basic
Okay.
agenda is to do kind of operations with back end and front end. So our core concept is with that one. If you want that kind of application at the end of the session, then I can take care, no problem. So I would like to show
Okay.
an example. So
Okay.
take your own example and get it to me so that I can explain the things which are related to that example
Okay.
if you want, because we don't want to include individually. We are learning all these concepts. At the end of the day, you have to include all these things and you can apply in a real time scenarios.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
okay, anything that you want.
No, it's
Okay,
good.
okay, let us continue this and we'll talk once we'll get final shape of this one.
Okay.
Okay. Next is execute reader. When this method will be used means this method will be used in few scenarios. The scenarios this method is used in executing of non-action queries. Non-action queries means simple select. Okay. Non-action queries. It returns an object type, then we will cast that object type into our native type. Okay. See, what is the core functionality with execute reader is, so we are going to use this for an non-action queries in select a simple select statement. So it returns an object. That object we have to convert into our native type. So we have a class called SQL data reader. Whenever we are going to read, suppose we have hundreds of records, we need to read all the hundreds of data and display wherever it is required. At that point of time, execute reader we can use. Okay. Next is execute scalar. This will be used for non-action queries, non-action queries along with aggregate functions, along with aggregate functions. This will be used for non-action queries along with aggregate functions. Means aggregate function means generally you might heard some functions. Select count of star. This is nothing but aggregate function. Okay. Suppose select max. Okay. Select min. Select um, big count. Count of big. So means these are all aggregate functions. What is the use of this function means? Suppose you have a table. This is our table, right? I want to know how many number of rows are there with this table. Just we can use select count of star of table student. You will get the number of rows. Count of star from table. So you have total how many number of rows? 2 rows. Suppose I want to get max percentage of this table. So you can do means max percentage. What is the maximum percentage from this table? Respond, please respond it so that I can understand whether you are following or not.
Yes, 90.
90. So just this is our maximum percentage. And for this minimum percentage is, what is the minimum percentage?
90 only.
That is also
Only
91. Okay.
90.
So what is the difference between count and count big means? Count accommodates up to some limit values, like up to it will occupies, it will accommodate 65,565. The range is up to that one. The values is beyond that range, then count big. We can use count big. Okay, but that if in this instance there is no difference in between count of star output and count of count underscore big star output, because both are lower limit values only. Okay, these are called aggregate functions. Whenever you have an aggregate functions, so then we can make use of execute scalar. Okay, these are the different types of executing methods. Now let us understand steps to connect with SQL in order to perform basic card operations. First is import namespace. Second is declare declare command and connection objects. Next, open the connection. Next, initialize connection object. Next, initialize the command object. Specify the command type. Execute the command. Next, close the connection. Close the connection. So these are the different steps for every card operation, not basic, every card operation, every operation that we intended to do with our SQL Server. These are the steps. First, import the namespace, means import the namespace is, this is the step. Like, we can use these namespaces. Then declare connection command object, and declaration of multiple objects are going to be proceeded for further programs. Not only command, we can declare dataset, we can declare data adapter, based upon the examples that we have to take in, and then declare the command and connection object, and initialize the, sorry, this is your fourth point. First, you can initialize your connection object, means this is your initialization part. Then you can open the connection. Next, initialize the command object, specify the command type, execute the command, and close the command. Once after execution, you will get some output. So this is how we are going to do with an basic operations with ADO.NET. Let me execute this one. So far you are clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we would like to start. So SQL command, because here we are executing query. In order to execute a query, command is required. So I declared connection and command. Now I want to initialize my connection. So this is our initialization process. I just copy paste here. Next command, cmd equal to new SQL command. So So yesterday, whatever we written, I placed in one, saved in one folder. This is our insert command, right? So now I want to pass this insert command to this place. Okay, insert into, for command we have to pass this one. Insert into TBL student values. So now all these values, what are the values that user enters, those values, those things we are going to pass here itself, right? Single quote, double quotes, plus. So yes, name, student name, txt, we have a field, name dot text, plus double quote, single quote. First you can follow the syntax, then I will explain what is the use of single quote and double quotes. Okay, for time being you can memorize. Next, single quote, double quote, plus txt qualification, plus comma, single quote, double quote, plus txt percentage dot text. Next, single quote, double quote, plus dog dot text. Okay, so now close this brace. This brace is for this. And then command contains two things. One is a query and other is a connection object. Connection object. Okay, so come to the syntax. Why single quote and double quotes is required means in SQL Server we already discussed. In order to pass string data, we are going to use a single quote, right? This is a basic structure that is required for a SQL Server. In a string data that we can enclose in our single quote. Okay. Next is double quote. Why double quote is means we are appending our txt name data. In order to append this data, so generally for appending kind of thing, we'll use this plus and with double quotes. Okay, so that we you see one way of another way is also we can pass. So just I would like to comment this one. Without double quote also we can do. Also see, without double quotes, this is the process. Whenever we are not passing double quotes, what it is taking? So it is taking directly as a txt name dot text is a value, but this is not a value, but we are dynamically reading that value from the text box. So that double quote is mandatory. If you are not passing double quotes means directly this value will be saved in the database, but we don't want to. This value means txt name dot text will be saved in the database. So actually our intention is to fetch the value which is available with our text box. So that is the reason where if you want to get the access of a control dynamically, then we can make use of double quotes. Okay, so now I did that one. Next cmd dot command text equal to command type dot see text. So if it is a plain query, then we can make use of a text. Command type equal to command type dot text. So this is an optional. This statement is optional. So for inline queries, but this is mandatory for stored procedure declarations. So we'll get to know what is the stored procedure and all those things in coming sessions. So next we want to execute our query, right? cmd dot execute non-query. This is a non-action query, right? So for non-action query we have an alternative to use only execute non-query. So this returns a value, right? So that value I would like to store in, it returns integer value that I will store in res. So here I would like to write a condition. If res greater than 0 means that some rows are affected, right? If it is less than 0 or 0, which means that nothing will be inserted. So if some rows are there, here I would like to show alert. We can write alert like this. So that we can place in script tag. Or that is another tag. So here data inserted successfully. Data not inserted. Please check. So once after done with our operation, so close our connection. Okay. So now I want to execute this one. So name. say for example Akshara, qualification Tech, percentage 95, and date of join 05/07/2017, and click on submit. See, data inserted successfully. See, here you can check whether data is there or not. See, totally how many rows we have? 3 rows. Means this data will be inserted. Once after the insertion, suppose if you want to remove the data, public void clear txt name dot text equal to txt qualification dot text equal to txt percentage dot text equal to txt dog dot text equal to the all quotes and txt name dot focus. I would like to implement this, and just I would like to call this method wherever it is required. So once after my addition I want to call, or else we can call this method once after your clicking of your clear button. The advantage of method is if you write in a generic way, that will be called in any way, like any place. So here I would like to pass something, qualification BTech, percentage 96, so on date of join 09/07/2017, so click on submit. Data inserted successfully. Okay, if you click on clear, automatically data will be cleared. So now we will check. So total rows is 4, okay, max percent is 96, min percent is 90. So aggregate functions are also going to work here. So in this way we can make use of insert statement. Am I clear so far?
Yes.
Okay. So next is yeah, tell me.
You'll be showing how to do with stored procedure with parameters, because the
Yeah,
parameters is little confusing for me.
yeah, definitely. Because I already told you that is a part of our course. So tomorrow class that we will do those things only. Okay.
Okay.
So let me complete how to delete, how to update with inline queries. Okay. Today, like we have almost 30 minutes. Just I want to show you how to delete a record. Suppose this is the data I want to delete. Okay. So you can write delete from your table name tbl student equal to student, where you can pass where condition what you want to delete. So if you say for example, if you want a person whose name is something, so Ankita, suppose if you want to delete means you can execute this, means that record will be deleted. Or else if you want to delete with id is you can use id. So best option is go with id instead of particular columns, because usually in real time environments id should be always unique. Okay, maybe integer column with a unique value, means primary key value will be there. So please do constraint, and please do use id instead of specific columns. Okay, if your requirement has multiple ids with same multiple records, suppose I have a 4 for this and I have another 4 for some other things, at that point of time if you want to delete a specific record, then choose a specific name and you can delete. I think got my point. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to delete, this is the way how we can delete our record. Suppose if you want to update table name, table student, okay, set what are the columns that you want that you can update here itself. Suppose qualification equal to Master of Science, where ID in 1 comma 2. So the persons who belongs to 1 and 2, those qualification is I would like to update with Master of Science. This is nothing but our update query. So now you can check that will be updated. Suppose technology. So 3 you can write like this also, where name, yes name, as name in. So there we use ID. You can use names also. But whenever we are using names, place your data in double quotes. Okay, just you can update to Master of Technology. Suppose if you want to update percentage equal to 99, where ID equal to 4. See, there is no rows updated. Let us check why there is no row for us. No rows updated here. Okay, why? Because we execute this delete statement. So row will be deleted. Okay, so that's the reason. If you are passing ID equal to 4 means nothing will be updated because 0 records. We executed entire things, right? So this is the way how we worked with the delete, update and insert statements. Okay, see, you can remember this is the third ID. Whatever we deleted is fourth, right? Once you are going to add a new record, that will not be fourth, that will be fifth element. Why? Because indexes always shows the values information. So whatever we deleted, that won't come continue from 3. That will be continued from the last record. Okay, next record will be 5, 6, like that will be there. Suppose if you are not saving 6 properly, some error is there, but identity will be created in the backend, and even though 6 record won't be saved, next saved element will be taken as a 7, because that identity will be created for the next record. What might be the problem, either for problem from your end or query end or syntax end, it doesn't matter for that identity column. It keep on in increment. So once an operation will be hitted on the table, then it automatically incremented that column, and that column will be displayed as the next one. Okay, so I want to show you and how to work with the delete. So these are the basic things. Okay, please make sure that each and everything what I discussed is understandable by you, so that it will be easy for you for further classes. If you have any doubts, so please let me know so that I can clarify from my end. So I want to take txt for this and button btn delete. So I can use delete See, most of the part is common. So instead of insert command, we have to pass delete. That's it. Text id dot text. Data deleted successfully. Not deleted. So here instead of that one we can make use. Up to this is query area where id equal to, so double quotes plus txt id dot text. See, here I didn't use a single quote because this is an integer column, right? So no need to enclose our integers in, single quotes. Here we are not enclosing, right? So here also we are not enclosing, right? If it is integer, no need to use a single quote. If it is a string only, we can use integer. That is the reason where I didn't use a single quote. Even though using of single quote is also not a problem, but don't use because there is no use for that. So just I want to execute this one. So here our data consists of 3 records. Suppose I want to pass 3 as an input. Click on delete. Data deleted successfully. So you can check here. Now only 2 rows are there. Suppose I want to execute INS. Okay, Akshara. I want to add. I submitted the data inserted. Click on clear and I want to insert one more data. BTech 96. I would like to submit this. One more data will be inserted. Please check. Now it will continue from not 3, 5, 6. Okay. What was the earlier record that will be saved in the DB level, earlier index. So from there only it will be incremented. So it doesn't matter, we deleted the data, we don't want, that means it won't take like that. Okay. This is about your insertion and deletion.
Okay.
Next is I would like to show you how to update the data. Add new item. So here I would like to take a table, insert a table. So with 5 rows. Enter name. Or else you'll try to copy the design and paste here. That is very easy for us. Just copy it and come here in table. Like to paste here. Okay. So instead of submit, we can make it as update. Here also btn update. Okay. Next is okay, clear. Okay. So here I would like to take one more thing. I'd like to take insert row or column, above selection. Here I want to take enter ID, because only for particular ID only we are going to, update the record, right? So for txt ID. Now when we click on this update button, we can change this also. I want to, okay, I want to click on this update. So now it will becomes update. So we will write a, common steps. First we can include namespace. Okay. Next is we can declare the connection command object. That is our next step. And we can initialize all those things. That is our next step. Okay, here we can change. Instead of insert query, we can pass update. Here, updated, not updated. So this is our update query, right? So let us check. Update set qualification. Single quotes, double quotes plus txt qualification dot text. And I want to update name also. If you want to update multiple columns, means you can make a separator as comma txt name dot text. Okay, so like qualification, name, and I want to update percentage also. Percentage single quote, double quotes, txt percentage dot text double quotes, single quotes. Okay, where id equal to whatever the id that you want, txt id dot text. So for id no need of single quote, right? This is our update statement. So as usually clear is same. Clear is same. If you want, you can call that clear. So now I'm going to, any doubts on this query? So how many columns that we want to update, after set you can write, and you can use where clause last. So just I am updating. So here what I have is we have a name called Akshara. So just I want to update that name. So Akshara ID is 5. So enter ID. So Akshara, suppose Priya. I would like to add something. So qualification is Master of Technology. Percentage is 95. I would like to make it as 99. So DOG. So I don't want to update DOG. Just put empty. Click on update. Sorry. See, whatever the thing, here we have a column name as S name, right? So but here we use a name as a column. The invalid column name is showing an error because you can be cautious while passing the column names. You can give exact column names which are available in database. That is about that error. Just to pass one more time. So her ID 5, okay, 5, Akshara Priya, Master of Technology, 99, DOJ. So I don't want to pass DOJ. Data updated successfully. No check. Updated or not? This record is updated, right? So in this
Yes.
we are going to do a card operations.
Oh,
Okay. So any doubts so far?
no.
Uh, Rekha?
No. So when you upload the video